Hi, I'm Larry Richardson, your step-by-step chef. And in this episode of Cooking with Plant-Based Meats, we are going to make an absolutely delicious spaghetti and meatball dish. Now, I do have an animal-based spaghetti meatball dish on stepbystepchef.com. So why are we working with plant-based meats? One, they're delicious. The modern version of plant-based meats are absolutely fantastic. A lot of them, you absolutely can't tell the difference between them and animal-based meats. Two, they tend to be healthier. The less meat we eat, the better. So I absolutely give it a shot. I feel great eating plant-based meats. I really focus them on my breakfast and lunch, and then I'll usually have beef, pork, chicken, fish with my dinner, just to round things out and get all the nutrients I need. So, I mean, you can go vegan if you want, you can go some form of vegetarian if you want, but it's nice to have these plant-based meats as an option. And the third reason we're doing this is we want to be superheroes and save the world. Basically, making animal-based meat takes an awful lot more energy and releases an awful lot more greenhouse gases into the atmosphere than these plant-based meats. And that means less climate change, less global warming, and less sea level rise. So everybody's a winner. So try subbing out some of your meat with these plant-based meats. I think you're going to like it. That's my speech. So come on, let's cook. And here are the ingredients for our spaghetti and plant-based meatballs. First of all, I have this great plant-based meatball for our spaghetti sauce. Oh, they're just fantastic. Now, there are a number of different meatballs out there, plant-based meatballs. So I recommend that you try different ones and find the ones that appeal to you. I use a different plant-based meatball in the meatball sub recipe on stepbystepchef.com. So, you want to check it out and you want to experiment with these meats until you find the ones that you really enjoy. So we're going to use about 9 of those in this recipe. We're going to use a large can of crushed tomato in our sauce, and we're going to add some veggies to it too. We will use 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil to saute half of this sweet red pepper and about 3/4 of a cup of chopped onion, of diced onion. So we're going to dice that sweet red pepper too. We're also going to use 4 garlic cloves that we are going to crush, and if you don't have a crusher, you can finely mince them. And we'll use 2 teaspoons of dried Italian seasonings. If you have fresh seasons, if you have fresh herbs, certainly use those in its place. And we'll use good old natural Parmesan cheese as a topper, and we'll prepare some angel hair pasta to serve it on. So how's that sound? That's right, it sounds delicious. So let me show you how to put all this together. Now, because we're using pre-made plant-based meatballs, this dish is very easy to make. All we're going to do is cut this red pepper in half. You can use a bell pepper if you want. You can use green, yellow, orange, you name it. I like the sweet red pepper. So I'm just going to take the core out and the seeds out. And it's already been rinsed off. And then all we're going to do is dice it. And this just gives the sauce more presence than plain tomato sauce would. I mean, literally, if you wanted to take the super easy route, you could just heat those meatballs up in a commercial sauce that you buy in a jar. I mean, it's that easy. And I don't hold that against anybody. You should make it the way you want and according with the amount of time you have in a day to cook. So that is absolutely up to you. I just like a really nice, hearty, fresh tomato sauce, spaghetti sauce. So I have these peppers. We're just going to chop them. Oops, they're trying to get away from me. Let's line them up. It doesn't have to be super neat. And just give them a good chopping. And we're going to saute these. These don't go in crispy fresh. And this gives the sauce a nice, delicious flavor. Then any of the pieces that kind of escape that less than graceful chopping, we'll just chop those a little smaller. You don't want huge pieces of pepper. I know some people actually do. I've had spaghetti sauces with enormous pieces of pepper in it, but that's not really for me. And you can add more or less pepper. That's totally up to you too. That's what I love about cooking for myself is I get to pick and I get to adjust the recipe to my taste. And when someone shares a recipe with me, often I do have to change it up a little bit because I don't have the same taste they have. So you want to have that flexibility, and that's why you want to be able to cook for yourself. And then we're just going to give this onion a nice dice. Not the whole thing. We don't need the whole thing. So I'm just going to cut down the face of this onion, which whenever you see onions like this that look like they've already been used, it's because they have been. They've been in other episodes of the Step-by-Step Chef. Isn't that exciting? So this onion is probably already a superstar on the web. And I'm just going as deep as I need to for the amount of onion I want. So I cut this way, and then I'm cutting this way, and it makes these little squares on the top. And that's the size of the chopped onion that we're going to end up with. And don't go all the way down into the onion because you want it to stay fresh for your next dish. And then I just cut down the face. There we go. And that's enough onion. And now for the garlic. If you don't like garlic, don't add it. If you can't get fresh garlic, add a little powdered garlic to taste. I like garlic, so I'm going to take some of these cloves and just crush them. And if you don't have a crusher, peel the garlic cloves, just peel that off, and then just finely mince it. It'll come out fine. It'll give up its flavor. Just taking some off so you can see. So you just peel this off, and then you mince it up. So this crusher will just, well, I guess it does what its name says. It crushes it. It's just quicker. And I use a lot of garlic, so this really works for me. And, you know, sometimes I will adjust the amount of garlic as I'm making it, depending on how strong the garlic smells, because that's a good indicator of what it's going to taste like in a sauce. And some people don't like, you know, a lot of garlic. Just a hint is fine. And some people like to load it. That would be me. I just raised my hand. Well, actually, it's not possible because I'm using two hands. But anyways, you do want to, you know, add the amount of garlic that appeals to you. I might even add, I think I'm going to add, I know this comes as no surprise to the people who have been watching this series all these years, but I'm going to add a little bit more garlic because I can. That's the fun of cooking for yourself. Here we go. Oh, there we go. That's the garlic explosion I was looking for. And now I'm going to meet you over at the stove. So I have this burner on just under medium heat. I'm going to add the olive oil. Here we go. And even the olive oil adds a nice deliciousness to this dish. And what we're doing is we're going to saute the onions, the peppers, and the garlic and get them really relaxed out until they start to look translucent. And then we'll pour the sauce in and add the meatballs. Here's our dried Italian seasonings. And be a little sparing with these. If you go overboard, they're very strong. So add like a teaspoon, teaspoon and a half to start, and then add more to taste after you actually taste the sauce itself, after it starts cooking. So I'm going to get this rocking and rolling, and I'll be right back. It's going to take about 5 to 7 minutes to saute these once the pan gets rolling. And the onions, peppers, garlic, and the Italian seasonings have all been simmering for about 7 minutes. You can see they're starting to turn translucent. I don't want them to have any crunch. I want them to really give up some flavor and just a little bit of texture in our sauce. So here comes our crushed tomatoes. I'll pour it in. And then we'll add our meatballs. Now, read the package of the meatballs that you purchase. These meatballs take 15 minutes from when this sauce starts to simmer. So I'm going to add, like I said, about 9 meatballs. And that should be very good with this sauce, a very good ratio. think I lost count, but anyways, you get the point. So I'm just going to stir these in, let it reach a simmer. I'm going to cover it, of course. Let it reach a simmer, stir it occasionally, but let it cook for 15 minutes or so. And according to the package, that's when it will be ready. And do the same with the meatballs that you purchased. So there we go, and I'll be right back. Oh, before I forget, start your spaghetti water now too. Most of these spaghettis, especially the angel hair spaghetti, they only take like 5 minutes or so. So get that spaghetti water going. And when this is at the 10-minute mark of simmering, put your spaghetti in and everything will time out perfectly. And 15 minutes later, let's take a look. Oh, that's a nice simmer. So the meatballs are all done in the sauce. Again, the package said 15 minutes, so what we did is we simmered them for 15 minutes. So I'm just going to set that aside, and our spaghetti is all ready too. So what do we do now? Let's eat. And here's our spaghetti. It's all strained. Take as much as you usually do. Oh, there we go. Oh, that looks good. Maybe a little bit more. Kind of hungry. Okay. And here's our plant-based meatballs and sauce. And again, they're making these plant-based meats so well that you would really, really have to strain to taste the difference between this and animal-based meat. Oh, that's delicious. Look at that. So congratulations. Look at what you just did. You just made this delicious plant-based spaghetti and meatballs. Now, if you like this recipe, please check out my website, stepbystepchef.com. There you will find several dozen plant-based recipes using plant-based meats that are absolutely delicious. I've been checking these different meats for a couple of months now and finding what I consider the best at this point in history. Doesn't mean I'm not going to try more, because I am. So please do visit stepbystepchef.com for a free printable version of this recipe, along with free printable versions of over 225 other recipes. Some are plant-based, some are animal-based meats, and some have absolutely no meat at all in them. So there's a nice range of good eats on the site. The other thing you will find with each and every one of those recipes is a video link so you can watch me how to make it. I do it the step-by-step methodical way, and I try to make it so everybody can keep up, so we can all enjoy the same meals together. Isn't that fun? We're all breaking bread together the step-by-step way. So I am Larry Richardson. I am your step-by-step chef, and I'll see you in the next episode.